I just came back from rehearsal and I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so optimistic for the future. So we got given, you know, we have the sheets, we have the music, we have everything. But the arrangements this time was so good. We had new musicians come in and it was just amazing. Like, so much creativity and so much freedom of expression in one place. It was just so amazing. Like, I have never really been in this sort of environment before. I'm so sorry, I'm talking like terribly right now. My brain is on like 5% now. But it was just so good because I've never really experienced that level of creative depth before. And you know, all these musicians, you know, they come from different places and they were just playing their hearts out. It was amazing. And you know, as a singer who was kind of like, I guess you could say, managing this little team of there were two little girls and then there was one girl around my age that I've played and sung with before, and then there was a new guy. I think he was friends with the other guys, but yeah, I never sang with him before, but he was so good too. Just being in that experience was really good because I not only had to, you know, just sing, like there was no room for me to just check out mentally. I was in all the time because they were talking about arrangements and okay, what's going to happen here? Who's doing this first? What do you girls need to do? What do you need to do specifically? Like all of these different tasks delegated to different people, and all like the little two girls were just running away. Like it was a 2-hour rehearsal. We only planned for an hour. It went on for a long time, but like I didn't mind because it was still so like the quality of musicianship in that room was amazing. I really want to be in rooms with more people who do that sort of stuff. People who improv, people who make great music on the fly. I should really get into like jazz clubs. I can't believe I'm saying this, but like jazz clubs, jazz playing, just like general improv stuff. I feel like I'd be so good at. And that's really something I've never really, you know, done in a public setting before. It felt so freeing because even I was talking to that girl that I have sung with for a very, very long time, and she was saying, I feel so free. It feels so good to be singing like this. And she's told me repeatedly, I've never sung with this much power and projection ever. You see, there are not really many spaces where people can sing like that. Like choirs, you're encouraged to say, you know, with everybody. There is no real room for solos or anything, unless you're like performing as a solo singer, but even then there's expectations on what you should and shouldn't do. And if it's just you and a piano, then that's even worse because I mean, sure you can play around with the dynamics, but stylistically there's not a lot you can do. But when you have a band of musicians that you're playing with, and they're like playing in different styles as well, they're not just playing in like the same style every time, especially not like classical, like traditional hymn styles. If they are doing that and they're improvising and you know they're just riffing off each other and building each other up, that is just the most magical environment I've ever sung in. And I feel like, you know, I've sung at weddings, I've sung at charity concerts, I've sung at all sorts of things, but that has been, you know, rehearsed, done, not much room for improv, and even, you know, backing vocals. Sometimes, you know, in a church setting, this doesn't really apply strongly because you're encouraged to make up the harmonies and you harmonize with the lead and that sort of stuff. But, you know, in normal background singer settings, like say you're doing backing vocals, BV for an artist, then in that case you would probably not be as improv as much. But this, my gosh, I also really do want to sing backing vocals for artists. Like when I was small, I really wanted to do BV. Just, you know, it just came into my head. I really liked it, but then I figured out I really like solo singing more. So, you know, if I could do BV at least professionally once and then solo singing, that would be pretty cool too. And like do shows and whatever, I would really like that. But how to get there, I don't know. First things first, I'm practicing. I'm doing what I can. I'm practicing 30 minutes a day, usually 8 o'clock on the dot. If I have a practice to go to, then I do it earlier. Secondly, and for shorter because I don't want my voice to wear out. That reminds me, today, actually no, I'll say it later. Secondly, I need to be filming videos and doing, you know, posting myself singing consistently, because you know, I'm practicing for me, who's going to see it? And then thirdly, I need to really keep up with the research and the literature and everything. It's just so that I have an, you know, awareness of the science, and that I can just get better and better and better at my singing. If there's new information that comes out, then that's, you know, information that I can turn into something good. And then yeah, also regarding my singing practice, for the last few weeks I've been singing for half an hour every day minimum. 8 o'clock on the dot, I go upstairs, turn on my laptop, we get the exercises running, and I do it. And I've learned a lot in those few days, like in that short space of time. So number one, my technique is good, but it could be better. So I worked on technique a lot. It was really small things like this will really sound weird to people who aren't like singers or musical, but I needed to think downwards with my mouth. So say that there's like a solid airstream coming when I'm singing E or something random. E, it comes out like that. But when I sing, to get the most power and the most longevity with that power to make me last like forever, I need to be singing not like this E, but more like this E. See how my lips protruded there? Just keep the lips a bit protruded. Number two, I saw this video, it must have been like Kelly Rowland. She was saying in like a singing tips video, lower your larynx, and I was skeptical because like that's something that classical singers say. It turns out maybe they might be right. At least for my case, you know, I took it up with my voice coach, and she said, you know, for you, maybe I have a very small, you know, up here, so that might be why making space down here, this is me lowering my larynx by the way, that might be why making space down here is actually helping me with my sound. And number three, there were other things. So yeah, number one was, gosh, yeah, anyway, number two, lower the larynx. And number three, I came across it today actually, because the last few days, you know, my tone had been improving because I've been doing these things, and I had more power and I could go for longer, and I was just louder and I felt way more comfortable. But after maybe 15 minutes or so, 15-20 minutes, I started sounding really like this, breathy, and there was only so much that could go through the vocal folds. Imagine these are the vocal folds, 2 flaps of muscle, E, one either side of my throat, E, and they're vibrating together like that. That looks really weird, but they're about the size of my thumbnail. Actually, I say maybe this one, for accuracy. They're very, very small, both of them, and they flap like that. So, where am I getting at with this? Who knows? But I was, yeah, that's true. So the point I'm making is they're very, very delicate and they're very, very small. So having good abdominal breath support is really going to help with that. So for example, if I say yee, and I sing like that, but then I have no breath support from here, which is basically like tucking your, like, everywhere around here, tuck it in. Some people say sing it, you know, sing with the diaphragm. That is a really ambiguous and disgusting term, because you can't sing with the diaphragm. Like, singing with the diaphragm doesn't make any sense. It's vague, stupid term. But what they're getting at, I'm starting to see truth in, because, you know, I used to say that you can't say singing for the diaphragm, that's terrible, because it's like you can't see it, you can't feel it, and you know, I still stand by that. But I see some truth in what they're saying, because when you use, you know, when you this will look really weird. I'm gonna go into full coaching mode. So this area, when you sing, you've got to squeeze it like that. That is what people call engaging the diaphragm and engaging the core. That kind of action. But what I realized is my breath, and that's basically what most people call breath support. I go into a bit more detail with that, but basic levels of breath support. The belly comes in like that. Lower belly, we call it. Upper belly and lower belly are 2 different things, but like, say this stomach area, like, it's not really a stomach area because the stomach is positioned higher in the body, but anyway, that lower area, we take it in, you pull it in, and that's supposed to give you extra power, but I hadn't been doing that as strongly as I needed to. So that's something I had to go revisit. But I'm starting to see a lot more truth than I once did in the classical technique, which I grew up in. So I don't know where to go with this. Do I pursue it more? Do I apply this to contemporary vocals? Because, you know, we all know classical singers aren't the best at singing contemporary. They never are. So I'm gonna have to go revisit this and experiment and see what I can do. I'm probably gonna find some papers, Medline, and see if I can, you know, make any more sense out of this classical conundrum, because I am truly, at this point, I am very, very truly just, I just don't know. I really want to improve. Like, I feel like I've become myself from 5 years ago. Always wanting to learn, always wanting to do, like, I always have, but like this kind of hunger for voice, for singing. I want to know what makes me tick. I want to know what makes me, you know, sound better, sound stronger. How can I make myself sound like some of the greatest voices out there? I think this is where we end this, because I'm going to have some shower thoughts and they're going to be good.